Hey everyone, my name is Cryphy, and in this Minema update I bring to you some awesome features for the depth buffer. Before this update, the depth buffer only had 8-bit precision. This is completely useless. Now you can choose between 8, 16 and even 32 bits. With these high precisions, you can now use the depth buffer to, for example, mask out things in front of CGI objects, as you can see in this scene right now. Before, it would be completely impossible with 8-bit to use this to mask out, for example, particles. You can also use the depth buffer to simulate depth of field, for example in After Effects, if your shader doesn't support depth of field. I will later show you in this video how you can do all of these things. Under the encoding settings, you now have new options. For example, here you can choose between 16 bits with 3 channels, 16 bits with 4 channels. The 4th channel is the alpha channel, and it will hold the information about your render distance or the custom depth buffer distance, which you can input under the capturing settings. This information of the 4th channel is needed, for example in Blender, to calculate an accurate depth path. You can also choose 32 bits, which already includes all of the information I mentioned before. And it offers 100% precision at the cost of bigger files. You can now also decide whether the depth buffer should include Minema motion blur. This is especially useful if you want to use the depth buffer to simulate depth of field in After Effects, for example. Although motion blur in the depth buffer is not very useful for masking purposes. The last new field would be the encoder arguments for the depth buffer. Here you can input your own encoding arguments, if you know what you're doing. Note that the 16 bits and 32 bits variant will be saved as an image sequence in a subfolder. The old 8-bit variant, which you can still choose here, will be saved as an MP4 file. Another very important thing is that when you choose a different bit depth here, for example 32 bits, you need to click on Reset to Default for the encoder arguments for the depth buffer. As you see, those settings now have changed, because every bit depth requires their own encoding argument. So every time you change something here, you need to click on Reset to Default. Also, it is very important that under shader settings, you have your render quality set to 1. If you set it, for example, to 2 or something else, the depth buffer will be scaled and unusable. So this needs to be 1. Now I want to show you what you can do with the depth buffer in Blender or in After Effects. For this purpose, I have set up this example scene here, with some chisel bits and snowstorm particles. So let's say we want to add a CGI object in here. This would normally be impossible, since you can't mask out all of these particles. But with the depth buffer, we can do something very awesome. For this, let's set up a camera. Alright, I've now set up a simple camera, which we will track now. So for this, let's set up our tracking settings. I will use relative origin. In this case I will just use camera coordinates. And I will use the floor's Y coordinates. 11, alright. Now let's render this. Now let's look at how we can mask out things inside of Blender using the depth buffer we recorded. First, we need to import our tracking data. Alright, since I've used relative origin, I can now easily position the cube here . Also, I will add our background footage into the camera as background image here, so it's easier to position our elements. Alright, so as you can see, I can easily position it now. We want to put this into the cage here. I think this should match up. Alright, let's add some glow so it's a little bit more visible. Okay, before you render, it is very important that under view layer properties you activate the Z path. This is the depth path of Blender, and it's very important for what I'm going to show you in a moment. Let's render. Alright, now let's head over to the compositing editor. Check this use nodes field here. And now we need to add a Z combine node. This will do all of the masking magic. Plug our image into the bottom, the depth of our render to the socket here. And now we need to import our depth path from Minecraft. As you can see, Minema has created new folders for the image sequences. And here we will select the first image. Now it is very important that you choose image sequence, and I think those were like, let's input 400 for the frames. Also, it is very important for the PNG sequences, what I'm having right now. So for 16 bits, you need to choose linear color space, and the alpha mode should be channel packed. Especially for the channel packed alpha mode is very important for the 16 bits with 4 channels mode, since we're using the alpha channel to store our rendering information. Now we need to calculate an accurate depth path, as I've mentioned before. For this we will use a separate RGB node to separate the channels. Now add a math node. Here we need to multiply one of these channels with the following number. So this number is the result of the following equation. We need to multiply one of these channels. Let's pick the alpha channel. Of course, use multiply and not add. I forgot that. And then multiply one of the RGB channels with the result of this multiplication here. And now we have an accurate depth path we can use for the Z combine node. Plug it into here. And now we of course need our background footage. We will use the movie clip node and choose the footage. Now plug it into the image socket here. Now let's head over to our render, and we can see it has worked. The cube is now masked behind the chisel bits and behind the particles here. And now we can do basically anything with this. Now I will show you how you can use the 32 bits variant, because for this variant you need to do way less work. Let us delete all of this here and import our 32 bits depth buffer. Alright, of course use image sequence, and here it doesn't matter what alpha mode you choose, because we don't use alpha channel in the 32 bits variant. Also the color space is already set to linear, and now we just plug this into the depth path here. And that's it. As you can see, it has worked. Except that, that's an issue. We need to select the footage from the 32 bits render. So we need to select this here. And now it has been masked out perfectly. Yeah, and that is basically it. Now let's look at how we can simulate depth of field inside of After Effects. As you can see, the shader didn't have depth of field activated, so we need to simulate it in the post-production. First, import our depth buffer image sequence. I will start with a PNG sequence because there are some extra steps involved here. You need to have this option here checked, PNG sequence, then import. The first thing you have to do after importing an image sequence is always to interpret the footage and choose your frame rate. In Minema I have set up a frame rate of 60, so this is what I will input here. The alpha mode is already correct at straight. Don't let this confuse you with the Blender part, because Blender has some different alpha modes and it's completely separate to what straight is in After Effects. Anyways, the most important step is also to go to color management, and here interpret as linear light needs to be on, not on for 32 bits, because then you would have to change your composition settings. Just put it on here. Now it's in linear color space, and that's it. Now we can drag it here. Alright, because I used the image sequence with the alpha channel, it's completely transparent, but that's not really a problem. We can still change the alpha mode here, click on ignore, and I think we need to re-import it here. Alright. Yeah, now you can see this is our depth buffer here. And now let's use the camera lens blur. This is the default After Effects effect for simulated depth of field. Now we need to select our depth buffer here, and that's basically it. Let me increase the blur strength here so you can better see. Yeah, as you can see, it's working. The only issue here is that After Effects default camera lens blur is a bit weird, as you can see, but there are some plugins out there. Also, yeah, to fix this issue here at the edges, you should check repeat edge pixels, and then it's fixed. Anyways, there are some plugins outside of After Effects which can also simulate depth of field. One example would be the bokeh plugin by Crossfire. Let's use this because it's way better. Here we go to depth map, choose our depth map, and yeah, as you can see, it's not having these issues. Also, a very neat feature is that you can use a focus point and basically move your point across the scene. Now let me show you how you would do it with 32 bits, because this variant actually involves some extra work here. So let us just delete all of this here. First of all, when handling 32 bits, you would need to go to the composition settings and choose 32 bits as the depth. And yeah, that's very important. Then let's import our image sequence. Now we need to interpret it, assume the frame rate of 60. The color management, in this case it doesn't matter because we have a 32-bit composition, so it would be interpreted as linear light anyways. Now, as you can see in the top right, the image has a lot of very big numbers, and they're far beyond 1.0. And After Effects, or most effects can't handle these values, so we need to squeeze them in between a range of 0 and 1. For this we will use the levels effect, and here we need to choose the highest value from the image, which seems to be something like 50 or so. So for white we will input 60 or 50, something around that. And for black we would need to choose, okay, we need to deactivate this now. For black we need to choose the lowest value, which seems to be something like 10. Alright, so as you can see now, our image has been squeezed into a range between 0, which is black, and white, which is 1. Now, when we choose our bokeh plugin, we need to select effects and mask here. So when you only have source, it would use the data without the levels effect applied. So we need to use effects and mask. Now it works again. This is the same for the camera lens blur. You also need to choose effects and mask there. And that's basically it. Now I will show you how you can mask out things inside of After Effects in a very basic way. So for this we will need the levels effect again. Okay, wait, if you want our depth of field to stay, we would need to copy this here. Then we would apply our levels effect on the copy here. Now what we need to do is basically input some number here and input the same number here. And now for the track matter here, we will select a Luma matter here, and yeah, then it's basically cut out. Could also invert this. Yeah, mask out things with some gradient. Yeah, and that's how we would do some basic masking with the depth buffer inside of After Effects. There are of course no limits. You can do a lot of other effects. For example, you could use a adjustment layer here. Put some effects on that adjustment layer, like a desaturation effect here, and we want to desaturate and darken a little bit. And now basically set the depth buffer here as a track matter, a Luma matte here for the adjustment layer. And now we can make things in the background desaturated and things in the foreground saturated. This could be done with all sorts of effects. There's no limit. Yeah, you could also use a turbulent displacement map, and yeah, that actually looks very interesting. Alright, I hope this tutorial and update will help you with your visual effects. And that's it. See you in the next update. Bye!